All right, we are ready to rock. So just to say, yeah, gentleish class today. Thanks for coming. Find your way, please, to a cross-legged position. Close the eyes and give yourself a moment, not only to settle in, to clear the cobwebs of the mind, but also to bring to mind any intention or goal, perhaps, that you have set for this new year. In and of itself, the practice of yoga is not goal-oriented, not competitive, not even really with yourself. So it's interesting to consider establishing a goal as you usher in the new year with the practice of yoga. It is really a practice of self-acceptance more so than self-improvement, recognition and acknowledgement, integration of the wisdom that you are right here, right now, perfect in every way. You do not need to improve, change, adjust in any capacity. As you are, 100% perfect. That being said, studies have shown that the practice of yoga, the traits that it helps you to cultivate, are useful in establishing goals elsewhere in your life, namely discipline and mental focus. The very act of finding your way to the mat this morning or this afternoon shows that you have the discipline to achieve any goal that you've set, just showing up. So with that, I'll invite you to root down through the sitting bones, begin to elongate the spine. We tend to look down towards the floor. So even with your eyes closed, bring your gaze towards the horizon. Typically, this means drawing the chin just slightly away from the chest. Broaden across the collarbones towards the outer shoulders and relax the shoulders down away from the ears. Lift from the crown of the head without lifting the chin. Lift from the highest points of the ears so you can lengthen through the sides of the neck. Soften the muscles of the face. Relax the jaw. And rather than thinking about breathing deeply, take long, smooth, calm breaths in through the nose. Long, smooth, calm breaths out through the nose. And you'll see that with just a few conscious breaths, the mind begins to slow down. Almost as though the entire world around you starts to slow down. Better enabling you to conjure up an image of how it might feel to achieve the goal that you have set for the new year. That feeling of joy, that spark deep within your belly. As you connect with your core, start to establish self-confidence. Draw the lower belly in and up. Follow your exhale to the very end, drawing the navel back towards the spine. Feel your abdominals engage at the very end of your exhale. Lift from the heart center. That instruction again and again to widen the collarbones, draw the outer shoulders back and down. It can be said repetitively throughout the day. We do so many things that invite the shoulders to be rounded forward, and you can notice for yourself the impact that that tiny instruction, that tiny adjustment has on your state of mind. From rounding forward, collapsed chest, to broadening the collarbones, lengthening the spine, breathing. Full deep breaths in and out. For the next 2 rounds of breath, count your inhale and exhale. Dedicate your awareness exclusively to counting the length of your inhale and exhale. It's remarkable how quickly your attention drifts away to something else. So really be committed. Breathing in for 4. Breathing out for 4. The brain being like any other muscle of the body that you have to contract and work to strengthen. Breathing in. Breathing out. Press the sitting bones down. Take another inhale, rise up. And this time, as you exhale, draw the chin to the chest. Let your shoulders round forward. And you can push the knees gently forward into your hands, a little shift from side to side. You stretch out the muscles of your back ribs. I've become very familiar with mine now. And also the muscles that help to support the rib cage in its connection with your spine. Inhale, draw the chest through the gate of the arms, lift your heart center, squeeze your shoulder blades towards each other. And exhale, chin to chest, round out the back, stretching your rhomboids. Breathing in, lift the heart center, engaging your rhomboids muscles between the shoulder blades. And exhale. Last one here. Inhale, lift the heart center, lift the chin, keep the lips closed. And exhale, rounding out the spine before moving into spinal rotations. Draw the torso forward as you inhale and round back as you breathe out. The beautiful thing about practicing from home is that you don't have to feel inhibited in modifying any postures or movements that you may need to suit your own body, including spinal rotations at the very start of the class. On your next inhale, change the direction. So you may go a little more gingerly, or perhaps you're feeling very mobile and agile, and you move a bit more quickly, establishing heat through the major joints of the body. And allow your rotations to get smaller and smaller and smaller, circling back to center. Stack one vertebra on top of the next. Inhale, sit tall, and suspend the breath. Relax the shoulders, soften the face. Call to mind your intention for the new year. And exhale. Exhale, empty out the lungs. And allow your breath to find its natural rhythm. Open the eyes, uncross and recross your legs. Take the other shin in front and just walk your way forward, bringing a stretch and lengthening through the spine. From the base of the skull, all the way down the back, into the tailbone, towards the sitting bones. If you come up onto your fingers, fingertips or fingerprints, and try to drag the chest a little bit further forward, tenting the fingers in this way just helps you to maintain that broad chest and deep breathing. So the only reason why I hesitate these days to say deep breathing is because people tend to, myself included, think about deep breathing as being puffing out the chest. And really, it's deep as in moving down towards the lower belly. That's really an important difference. Walk your way back up to center, plant the right hand, take the left arm up and along the plane of the cheek, reach your fingertips towards the opposite side wall. Now you're stretching the intercostal muscles between the ribs on the upper side body. You're engaging the intercostal and oblique abdominals on the lower side body. If the floor rises up to meet that forearm, feel free to rest the forearm all the way down and bring your gaze upwards towards the ceiling. Press into the lower hand, come on up for an easy spinal twist to your left. Right hand comes to the left knee, a gentle tug against the knee to rotate the torso around. And turn to face forward. Change sides, plant the left hand, stretch your right arm up and along the plane of the cheek, fingertips reaching towards the opposite side wall. Press into the lower hand, come on up and take an easy spinal twist to your right. Left hand to the right knee, just a gentle tug against the knee, and you can keep dropping the left shoulder away from the ear. You're using a little bit of bicep effort through that arm, but you don't want to start creating tension in the neck and shoulders. Turn to face forward, interlace your hands, reaching the arms out in front, draw the chin to the chest, stretch out backs of the shoulders, the upper back, down through the length of the spine. Take your gaze forward, rotate the palms forward, and inhale the arms up overhead. Visualize the thumb side of the hand and try to rotate that whole thumb side of the hand upwards towards the sky, not just the thumbs themselves, but that thumb side of the hand pressing up. Breathe into your back ribs. Take the hands in behind the head. Rest the weight of the head into the hands. Lift your gaze upwards towards the ceiling. Allow the elbows to move a little bit closer inwards towards each other. And it's almost like you're lifting the points of the elbows up towards the sky, preparing to draw lines along the ceiling towards the back wall. So that's the direction. Elbows are lifting up and up. Return to neutral. Lower the hands down, swing your legs to the side, come on to hands and knees and start to move through cat-cow. Again, at your own pace. Arching on the inhale, so I might go a little bit more gingerly, but you may feel again very agile and moving a little bit quicker. Either way, however, when you inhale, the belly drops down, the gaze comes forward. When you exhale, you're doming through the upper back. Press your shoulder blades to the sky, send your tailbone towards the earth. Breathing in, arching through the low back. Exhale, navel to the spine. Maintain a long breath. There is no rush. Inhale, arching, low back, mid back, upper back, region of the neck. Exhale, chin to chest, shoulder blades to the sky. Lengthen through the low back, tailbone towards the earth. Last one, breathing in. Visualize each segment of the spine. Send your hips back towards your heels. You don't have to get all the way there, but towards the heels, child's pose. Come up onto your fingerprints again, tenting the fingers. Hook your fingerprints into the floor and try to drag the hands a little bit closer towards the top of the mat. Your forearms are off the floor. It's an active child's pose or active balasana. As you hook your fingers into the mat and send the hips back towards the heels, see if you can feel that decompression through the length of the spine. Walk the hands towards your knees, come to the back of the mat, stand folding forward over the legs, crown of the head towards the earth, take opposite hand to elbow and let gravity pull the weight of your torso towards the floor. As the upper body releases forward over the thighs, you still get that sensation of decompression through the length of the spine. Take note of where you are looking as an indicator of the position of your neck. If you're looking between the feet, shift your gaze to look between the shins at the wall behind you and nod the head yes and no. Release any tension in the neck or in the jaw. A gentle sway from side to side. Come to neutral, release the arms, draw the belly in, slight engagement of your abdominals. Start to round up, one vertebra at a time. Hands to the hips. Do a few spinal rotations with the pelvis. Loosen things up. Figure eights. This challenges the brain to move in a different way, especially when you then go into backwards figure eights. So you're going in the opposite direction. All of these things sort of wake up new neural pathways in your brain. If not wake up, then establish new pathways. And come to center. Interlace your hands behind your back. Roll the shoulders up, back down. Reach the knuckles of the hands towards the floor and keep the chin towards your chest first. Lift the sternum upwards towards the chin. So the chest is rising up to meet the chin. Squeeze your shoulder blades together, reach the hands down, start to lift the chin and the gaze upwards towards the ceiling. Baby back bend, breathe in. And exhale, come halfway down. At the halfway point, reach the hands back, elongate the sides of the neck, crown of the head drawing forward. Bend your left knee and look to the right. Center, bend the right knee, drop your right shoulder, look left. Back to center and fold forward over the legs, float the arms up a little bit higher if that's accessible. And shift your arms gently from side to side. Shoulders are the most mobile joint of the body, which means that you likely have a little bit more flexibility than you think, but also that you need to protect that additional flexibility. Slide the hands down the backs of the legs, draw yourself into a bit of a deeper stretch. Then lower your hands to the mat and walk forward into your downward facing dog. We're taking 5 deep breaths. Every time you enter into a new pose, you're given the opportunity to hone your capacity to focus. Breathing in for 4, breathing out for 4, and look for a smooth transition between the two. Take your knees to the floor. Lower down onto the forearms. Right hand behind your left elbow, slide the left arm forward, send the hips back towards your heels. Then visualize your spine, and it's as though you want the spine to be like a valley as opposed to a hill. So the spine drops down between the muscles that run vertically along the length of the spine, as opposed to rounding upwards towards the ceiling. Turn the right hand to face up, slide it out to the left, guide your right shoulder down towards the floor. And either stay here or tent the left fingertips, point of the elbow lifts upwards towards the sky. Really tuck the right shoulder well beneath you in order to stretch the back of the shoulder and maybe in through the mid back. Press into your left hand, slide the right arm through. One cat-cow on hands and knees, arch the back, inhale. Round your spine, send the tailbone towards the floor, breathe out. Lower down onto the forearms. Take the left hand behind your right elbow, slide the right arm forward, and send the hips back. So stretching the front of the chest, another group of muscles that get tight if you think about the texting, the typing, the driving, the reading, the computer sitting act that we do through the course of a day. Those muscles get tighter and tighter. Muscles along the back of the body, less so. Left hand faces up, slide it out to the right, draw the left shoulder towards the floor. That's one thing about the practice of yoga too, is that it's difficult to achieve goals or to set resolutions if your body is uncomfortable. If your body's in pain, it really can have the potential to become your entire world. Your entire existence is about your hurting shoulder or even a big toe, elbow. It's remarkable. So bring the right hand in, press into the fingertips, lift the elbow point towards the sky, tuck the left shoulder well beneath you, breathe into the upper back. Right hand grounds down, slide your left arm through, back onto hands and knees. One cat-cow, arching. Exhale, round. Lift your knees up, downward facing dog. Look towards your hands, make your way to the top of the mat, and bring your hands to the low back. Fingers point down towards the floor, root down through the feet. Inhale, come on up. Send your hips just slightly forward and down. Lift the chest once again. And exhale. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Interlace your fingers and hinge to the right. Back to the intercostal muscle stretch, muscles between the ribs. Draw the chin off the chest so your gaze is towards the horizon. Back through center on the inhale and exhale over to your left. Inhale, center. Take your hands to your heart center. Exhale, step to the top of the mat, Tadasana. Bring the weight into your left foot and draw the right knee in towards the chest. It doesn't matter how high you're lifting the leg up. Press the right heel forward, create strength in the quadriceps here in your upper thigh muscles, but try not to lean back. If anything, squeeze your abdominals, lean slightly forward. Relax the shoulders, gaze is still at the horizon. Bend the knee. Extend. Last one, bend. Extend. And now you're going to step the foot back in preparation for triangle pose. Outstretch the arms and align your front heel with the center of the back arch. Right hand down, left palm to the sky. Take an inhale. Reach your fingertips towards the ceiling. Guide the hips towards the top of the mat. Lengthen and stretch through the side body. Come back up through center. Reach as far to the left as you can. Have the movement come from the pelvis. Slide your hips towards the back of the mat and reach the right arm up. The challenge here is in trying to roll that upper rib cage back. Draw the bottom rib cage forward. Activate the legs. Root down through the right heel. Attempt to drag that heel towards the back of the mat. Really open up through the back of the knee. And take one more breath. With an inhale, come on up. Exhale, hands to the heart center. Shorten your stance slightly. Pivot onto the ball of the back foot to face forward. Another balance challenge here. So you're beginning with both legs straight. Gaze towards the horizon. Take a deep bend in the knees until the right knee hovers above the mat. Then you're coming all the way up to a straight-legged position. Both legs straight, gaze on the horizon. One more, bending both knees. All the way up. Gracefully step to the top of the mat. Back to Tadasana. Inhale, circle the arms up overhead. Exhale, hands come to the heart center. Bring the weight into the right foot. Draw the left knee in towards the chest. So the most effective way to bring your mind immediately into the present moment is by using balancing postures. Press through the left heel. Quadriceps engage. Abdominals engage, preventing you from leaning back. Bend the knee. Extend, push through the heel. And bend. Last one, press through the heel. Relax the shoulders. And step back for triangle pose. A big step back with the left foot out, stretch the arms. Align front heel to the center of your back arch. Left hand down, right fingertips towards the sky. Inhale, guide your hips forward towards the top of the mat. Opening up through the side body. Come right back up, reach as far right as you can, send the hips back towards the back of the mat, your left arm comes up. And again, try to feel that rotation of the rib cage as you turn more and more, any small amount, towards the long edge of the mat. Sort of grip the mat with your toes, similar to how you've done with the fingerprints. And attempt to, or imagine that you're trying to pick up a marble with your left baby toe. Open up and lift through the arch of the inner foot. Inhale, come on up. Hands come to the heart center, shorten your stance slightly, pivot onto the back toes, turn to face forward. Both legs are straight. Really wrap the outer left hip around, so that the back heel aligns over the toes, or you're moving towards that anyway. Bend both knees, a nice deep lunge. Straighten the legs completely all the way up. Bend the knees, focus your gaze. All the way up. Push off the back foot, step forward. Top of the mat, sweep the arms up overhead. Inhale. Exhale the hands to the heart center. So we'll come into our classic balancing pose, Vrikshasana, or tree pose. You can widen your foundation by lifting up the left, well, you'd be right toes, lift up the right toes, spread them, release them back down. And the left foot comes anywhere along the right leg. It does not have to be the inner thigh. You could even have your big toe on the mat. Establishing a feeling of Self-confidence by connecting with your core. Draw the lower belly in and up. Notice how the right hip wants to pop out to the side. Squeeze it in also, so that you're pushing your foot against the inner thigh, but also pressing the inner thigh or whatever portion of your leg against the foot at the same time. But then it's confidence and strength with a little bit of softness, relaxing the shoulders, muscles of the face soft. Inhale the arms up overhead. Separate the hands. Straighten the elbows completely. And release. Lower your foot to the floor. Lift and spread the left toes. Root down through that foot. Right foot lifts up. Bring it anywhere along the leg. Bring the palms to meet. Balancing posture, really all about your focus. Focusing with the gaze. And that's how we establish focus with the mind. As soon as your gaze moves, your body moves. So you have to be absolutely committed to some single point. Even if you fall out of the pose, keep your gaze on that single point and simply come back in again and again. Make it part of the practice. Falling is learning, as they say. So you're tucking the hip in, pressing the foot against the leg, pressing the leg against the foot, lengthening through the spine, softening at the same time. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Let the hands separate, elbows completely straight. And release. Lower your foot to the mat. Come to the top of the mat and step your feet mat width distance apart. Fold forward. Bend one knee and then the other. Take opposite hand to elbow the awkward feeling way so that the other hand is on the bottom. Pull the elbows towards the floor and look at the wall behind you by looking between the shins. Lower the hands down, toe heel your feet back to center and step to downward facing dog. Your second opportunity to take 5 deep breaths in downward dog. And if you need a break before the 5 breaths are up, take your knees to the floor. Maybe you need a break after 1 breath, in which case you could pause for a breath, come back in. Just be sure that taking a break is something that the body needs and not that the mind has told you the body needs. Lower your knees to the floor. Walk the hands out over to the right and send your hips back towards the left heel, the direction of the left heel. Bring the right hand on top of the left and create a feeling of friction by pressing down the palm of the left hand as though you're trying to drag the chest forward towards the left hand, but the hips are too heavy. They just keep hanging back. Soften the outer right shoulder down slightly. And shift forward. Walk your hands through center and all the way over to the left. Send your hips back towards the right heel. Take the left hand on top of the right. Hook your right fingerprints into the floor and create that bit of traction, that resistance, using the palm of the right hand and the fingerprints while letting the hips hang back. Soften the left shoulder down slightly and breathe. Walk your hands through center and come into child's pose. You can rest your forehead on your forearms, on stacked fists, on stacked yoga blocks if you like. Most of you have some variation of child's pose that you'll practice if sitting back on the heels is not accessible or desirable. So go ahead and take your variation. What's important is that you can observe the breath slowing down in and out through the nose, and that you're in a position where you can be still enough to scan the body. Take note of any places that are still tight, tense, or contracting. And if you find those places, send a mindful breath or two there. Soften and relax. Walk the hands in under the shoulders, press into your palms, lift the head up, swing the legs to the side and straight out in front. You'll have the right leg extended in front. Cross your left foot over the right thigh, wrap your right arm around, take the left fingertips in behind, sit tall, breathe in. And as you exhale, just a nice, easy spinal twist, turning to your left. There are a lot of variations in terms of where you can put the right hand. You can also slide it under the thigh, get a good grip of the leg that way, or take the knee kind of into the crease of your elbow, squeeze the thigh in towards your rib cage like that. Either way, if you then take your awareness to the left foot, press the inner edge of your left foot, the big toe side, root down there firmly as you inhale to lengthen, and you should feel some stretch through the outer hip. Unwind back to center. Take a very gentle, gentle counter twist to your right. And face forward. Uncross the leg. Change sides, right foot over the left thigh. Left arm wraps around, whichever variation you like, maybe arm under the thigh. Right fingertips close to the base of your spine. Tent the fingertips as you've been doing. Rise up on your inhale and rotate through the rib cage as you breathe out. So can you tell if the collarbones are sort of shrinking in towards each other? Broaden through the collarbones. Keep the chest nice and open. Outer shoulders draw back and soften down. And breathe. Unwind back to center. Gentle, gentle counter twist facing left. And turn to face forward. Uncross the leg. Bring the soles of your feet together, Baddha Konasana. Hold on to some portion of the legs, ankles, shins, even higher up the legs if you like. We're not using this so much to stretch out the inner thigh muscles as we are to lift the heart center. So pull against the legs. Notice how this enables you to draw the chest through the gate of the arms, broaden through the collarbones, take the gaze towards the horizon. It's interesting how often, at least for some of us, the gaze drops down towards the floor again. So again and again, lift the chin off the chest. Draw the shoulder blades down your back. Draw the lower belly in and up. And focus the mind for 2 more breaths. Use your hands to guide the knees together. Wrap the arms around the legs. Give yourself a nice tight squeeze, chin to chest. Press your spine back towards the floor behind you. Come to the top of the mat with knees bent, arms alongside of the body. Feet and knees both side by side so that you can press the knees together using your inner thigh muscles to help with rolling down one vertebra at a time. Arms reach, belly draws back, slowly lower for a count of 10. Hey, it's like the New Year's countdown. 9, 8, 7. Send the tailbone towards the heels. Press the knees together. 5, 4. Scoop the tailbone under. Low back towards the earth. 3. That was a long 4. 2. And 1. Hug the legs in once again. But be nice and still. Press the length of your spine downwards into the floor from the tailbone to the backs of the shoulders. Bring your feet to the floor. Separate the feet about hip width distance. Send your tailbone towards the earth. Push your low back into the mat. And lift the hips just a few inches. Higher if you like, but certainly not necessary. Keep lengthening through the lower back, sending the tailbone forward. Sink the weight into your heels and try to drag the heels towards your shoulders. Chin moves away from the chest. Feel the weight of your head on the earth. Widen the collarbones to the outer shoulders. Relax the outer shoulders down and breathe. 3 focused breaths. There should be no pinching or tenderness in the lower back. If that's the case, just come lying onto your back. Slowly lower 1 vertebra at a time. Stretch the arms out to the sides. Do a little windshield wiper action with the legs. Release them side to side. You can pause with the knees over on the left. Lift the knees back up, drop them over to the right, and take a few breaths. Lift the knees back up, draw the legs in towards your chest again, and with a bend in your knees, take the soles of the feet upwards towards the sky. Let the low back release downwards into the floor. So make sure your low back is grounded. The knees can be bent. We're not looking for a hamstring stretch here. Instead, looking to invert so that the feet are above the heart and you can receive the benefits of an inversion, the reversal of blood flow. Stretch the arms up, make gentle fists with your hands, and try to align your wrists over your elbows, over your shoulders, enabling the backs of the shoulders to sink downwards onto the floor. It shouldn't require any effort for you to have the arms in this position. Then rotate your fists a couple of times, both directions. Rotate the ankles a couple of times in both directions. Lower the arms down. You can turn your palms to face up. Be still. Notice your toes. And rather than think about whether or not you need a pedicure, think of how grateful you are to have feet that work, toes that help you to balance, legs that carry you from point A to point B. Allow your breath to settle. Feel the upper thigh bones dropping downwards into the hip sockets. Broaden the collarbones. Lower your feet to the floor. Interlace the hands behind your head. Draw the chin towards the chest. Look to stretch the back of the neck. Not crunching here, but instead, imagine drawing the skin of the scalp towards the wall behind you. Bring your gaze to the right. Back through center. Take your gaze to the left. Back to center. And lower your head to the floor. Bring the arms down alongside of the body. If you happen to have any sensitivity in the low back at this point, then you can take a wider space between your feet. Bring the knees into rest against each other. That can be your position for Shavasana. Otherwise, classic Shavasana, you're walking the feet forward until the legs are straight and then dropping the feet out to the sides, away from each other. Close the eyes by bringing your upper eyelid to meet the lower eyelid. And with eyes closed, release your gaze towards the heart, calming the nervous system. Skin of the scalp moves down in the direction of the shoulder blades. The shoulder blades draw downwards in the direction of the hips. Buttocks muscles in the direction of the heels. Feet drop out to the sides away from each other. Shavasana is a brief but important posture for the integration of all of the benefits of the practice leading up to this point. It's not the same as the seated meditation that we'll do, so give yourself permission to just be still, to lie down, allow the breath to settle into its natural rhythm. You don't have to change the breath. Allow it to be as it is. Take up the challenge of feeling heavier with every exhale. Notice any places of the body that would benefit from a little bit of extra awareness. Any places that are protecting or contracting. Send a compassionate breath or two that way. From the crown of the head to the tips of the toes, feel heavy. From the crown of the head to the tips of the toes, feel light. At peace, content, perfect in every way, without changing a single thing. We'll take less than a minute here in Shavasana to gel the benefits of the practice. without moving your body. Just notice the breath and start to breathe longer, calm, smooth, and even breaths in, deeper and more complete exhales, feeling the belly draw back towards the spine, abdominal contraction to squeeze out that last little bit of air. Wiggle the fingers and toes. Rotate the wrists and ankles. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Extend the arms overhead. Lengthen the spine, point the toes, and through the mouth. Exhale, let it go. Hug the knees to the chest. Rock forward and back and side to side. Reach your right arm overhead. Rock onto your right side in a fetal-like position, using the right arm like a pillow. And as we transition into our brief meditation practice, try to do so with as little disruption as possible. But press into your left hand, lift yourself up, find your way into whatever posture it is that enables you to have a nice long spine. Whatever posture enables you to breathe deeply. That might even mean sitting on a chair, which is fine. Just find your place. Rest the hands on the knees and sink into a breath awareness practice. If there is an intention that you have for 2023, call it to mind now. For a few rounds of breath, give that intention your perfect attention. Infuse your goal with the power of life force energy. Cultivate a feeling of joy or success. That spark that resides deep within your belly, make that connection. And then let it go. Return to your breath. Allow your intention, your goal, your resolution, if you did happen to have one, to just sink into the depth of your subconscious. Soften the jaw, relax the muscles of the face. Breathe in for a count of 4. Breathe out for a count of 4. If there comes a time when your mind drifts away, the practice is about noticing and bringing your awareness back to the breath. It's not about not thinking. It's about making the choice, having the ability to choose your thoughts, what you will focus on. Breathing in for 4. Breathing out for 4. Even if you happen to be practicing at home alone, know that right now, at this moment, thousands of people around the world are doing this very same thing. So you are contributing to and benefiting from that very empowering energy, collective consciousness. Breathing in for 4 and exhaling for 4. Three minutes left. You can keep the eyes closed, but bring the palms of the hands together and rub the hands. Establish some heat between the palms of the hands before you take the heel of the hand against the eyes, ever so gently. Bring the hands away from the face. Take the hands, palms together at the heart center in Anjali Mudra. One last time, call to mind your intention for 2023, and we will infuse your intention and seal our practice with the sound of Om. Take a conscious breath in. Namaste. Thank you so much for coming, joining me for our New Year's class.